uh, there is someone who cannot get you off their mind. And I mean that with every ounce of specificity that phrase is capable of carrying. Not in the casual, passing, you cross my mind today way that happens between people who are mildly interested in each other. In the consuming, relentless, I tried to think about something else and came back to you anyway way that happens when someone has been genuinely, deeply, completely captured by another person. You have captured someone, Virgo, and the nature of what they feel when they think about you, which is constantly, which is in the first moments of consciousness in the morning and in the last moments before sleep takes over at night and in the spaces between everything else during the day, is not something they have been able to manage or redirect or reason themselves out of. It is bigger than their management strategies, and it has been getting bigger, not smaller, with time. Stay with me, because what came through for you today is one of the most intensely romantic, most emotionally charged, most genuinely moving readings I have sat with in a long time. And I want to make sure every layer of it reaches you completely. Let me start by telling you what it felt like when this energy landed, because the quality of it is itself part of the message. I sat down with your energy today, and what came through almost immediately was heat. Not the aggressive, uncomfortable kind, the specific, enveloping, you are near a fireplace on a cold night kind, the warmth of something that has been burning steadily for a significant amount of time. That has moved past the volatile, unpredictable stage of new feeling and settled into something that has depth and consistency and a quality of having been tested by time and found to be genuine. This feeling that is directed toward you is not new. It has been developing, growing roots, becoming more sure of itself the longer it has had to exist in the absence of resolution. And that growth, that deepening over time of what started as attraction into something considerably more substantial, is what gives this reading its specific layered quality. What this person feels for you is not a passing thing. It has permanence to it, the specific permanence of something that has had enough time to prove itself. I want to speak to who this person is, because their energy is coming through with a clarity and a warmth that I want to honor with real specificity. This is someone who experiences their feelings deeply but does not always express them easily. There is a richness to their interior world that does not always find its way to the surface in the way that the intensity of what they carry internally might suggest. They feel more than they show, always have. And this gap between what lives inside them and what they allow to be visible has been, in the context of their feelings for you, both a source of frustration for themselves and a source of the specific tension that has been building between you. Because what they feel for you is extraordinary. I want to say that clearly. Not ordinary attraction, not the standard appreciation of someone who finds another person appealing. Something that has the quality of recognition, of encountering someone and understanding in a way that bypasses the usual rational evaluation process, that this person matters, that something about them is different from everything else in your experience, that walking away from this and pretending you did not feel what you felt is simply not an available option. That was their experience of encountering you. And they have been living with the full weight of it ever since. Spirit is getting very specific right now, and I want to slow down to receive this properly. I am being shown the specific way this person thinks about you when they are alone, when the social performance of daily life has fallen away, and what remains is simply what is true. And what is true, what rises to the surface the moment they stop directing their attention elsewhere, is you. They think about your mind first. I want to name that because I feel it is significant and because it says something important about the nature of what they feel. Your intelligence, the specific quality of how you think and how you process and how you see things that most people miss. The way a conversation with you never feels like a transaction, but like an exploration, like two people genuinely discovering something together in real time. This fascinates them, has fascinated them since the first time they experienced it, and the fascination has not diminished. It has deepened with each subsequent encounter, each conversation that showed them another dimension of how your mind works, until the fascination has become something that lives in them permanently rather than something that requires your presence to activate. They carry you, Virgo, specifically, detailedly, in the full complexity of who you actually are rather than a simplified version of you that would be easier to manage. I want to speak now to the day and night quality of what the title describes, because this is the piece that came through with the most emotional weight, and I want to honor it fully. The morning when they wake up, before the day has established its rhythm, before the ordinary business of living has created enough momentum to carry their attention forward, there is a specific window of unguardedness, a few minutes, sometimes longer, where the mind is still close to the honesty of the interior world that sleep allows. In those minutes, you are there, not as something they choose to think about, as something that is simply present, a warmth that exists in their chest before they have fully identified its source, a pull towards something specific, you, and then the day begins and they move through it. They do what they need to do. They show up for their responsibilities and their relationships and the various demands that daily life makes. And through all of it, you exist in a background layer of their awareness, sometimes quietly, sometimes more insistently, when something triggers a memory or a thought or a specific association that brings you forward from the background into the foreground. And then the night, which is harder than the day because the night removes the distractions, the things that create enough forward momentum during daylight hours to keep the background layer in the background. In the night, when everything is still, the background becomes the foreground, and you become the primary occupant of a mind that has spent the entire day trying to maintain a reasonable proportion. They think about you at night in a way that is different from the daytime thinking, more honest, more complete, more willing to go into the full territory of what they feel without the daytime filters that keep it manageable. Does this feel like it is connecting to someone specific for you, Virgo? Have you felt the pull of someone's attention in the specific, persistent, somehow present, even across distance way that I am describing? Let me know in the comments. Tell me who came to mind. Tell me if you have felt this energy directed at you even before this reading named it. I want to speak to something that I feel is important about the romantic dimension of what this person carries, because the title of this reading names it directly, and I want to address it with the depth it deserves. When I say someone is dying to make love to you, I am not speaking in a narrow or purely physical sense. I am speaking in the fullest, most complete meaning of that phrase, because making love in the truest sense is not separate from loving. It is the physical expression of an emotional and spiritual reality. It is what happens when someone who loves another person fully and specifically and with genuine recognition of who that person actually is wants to express that love in the most complete way available to them. What this person wants is to be close to you in every sense, emotionally close in the way of being genuinely known and genuinely knowing, spiritually close in the way of two people whose connection operates at a depth beneath ordinary interaction, and yes, physically close in the way of wanting to express through the body what exists in the heart and the soul. This is not a shallow wanting, it is a complete wanting, the specific kind that encompasses all of you. Your mind and your heart and your history and your complexity and your specific, irreplaceable way of being in the world. They do not want a version of you. They want you, all of you, in your fullness. And that completeness of wanting is what makes this so significant. Because people who want all of you, not just the convenient parts, not just the easy parts, but the whole extraordinary, complicated, real thing, are rare. Spirit is showing me something specific about this person's physical experience of thinking about you, and I want to share it because I feel it is part of the full picture of what is being described. When this person thinks about you, their body responds, not in a way they can always control or predict, a warmth that spreads through them, a specific involuntary quality of being more alive in the presence of even just the thought of you than they are in the presence of most other actual people. A kind of aliveness that they have come to associate so completely with you that its absence in other contexts has become something they notice. Other things do not produce this. Other people do not produce this. And this specificity, the fact that what they feel is so particular to you and not transferable to other people or other situations, is something that has been increasingly impossible for them to ignore. They have tried. I want to name that honestly, because I think it is important for you to understand that this is not someone who surrendered immediately to what they feel. There was a period of attempting to be reasonable, of trying to redirect, of telling themselves that what they feel is manageable and that managing it is the wise choice. The managing has failed completely. And in the failure of the managing, something became clear to them that they could not have understood while the managing was still partially working. They are in love with you fully, specifically, without the ability to pretend otherwise. Inhale with me, Virgo, because I want to shift now into something that I feel is equally important to everything I have described so far. I want to talk about your own experience of this connection, about what has been happening on your side of the energetic field that exists between you and this person. You have felt something. I know you have. The specific quality of someone's attention being on you in the way I have described does not exist in a vacuum. It creates a field, a warmth in the atmosphere around a connection that the person at the center of it can feel, even when they cannot always identify its source. There have been moments where you thought of them without a clear external trigger. Moments where a particular quality of feeling arose in you that you associate with this connection, even when the connection was not actively present in your immediate awareness. Moments of wondering, of something pulling your attention in their direction in a way that felt less like a decision and more like a response. These moments are real. They are the energetic evidence of what I am describing. The field created by someone's deep consistent, genuine feeling finding its way across whatever distance exists between you and registering in your awareness as exactly what it is: a pull, a warmth, a presence. Let me speak to what is building toward expression in this situation, because the energy is not static and there is movement approaching that I feel with real clarity. This person is reaching a threshold, the specific threshold of someone whose feelings have outgrown the container they built to hold them, where the effort of not saying something, of not moving towards you, of continuing to manage what they feel without giving it any outlet has become more costly than the vulnerability of finally expressing it would be. They are approaching the moment of no longer being able to not say something. And what that something looks like when it comes forward is going to reflect the full depth of everything I have been describing, not a tentative, carefully hedged expression of mild interest. The real thing, the complete, this is what I feel and I can no longer pretend otherwise thing that has been building behind the careful management for whatever time this has been developing. For some of you, this is going to be a conversation, direct, honest, in a register of vulnerability that this person does not typically access easily, but that the accumulated pressure of everything they have been holding has finally made necessary. For others, this is going to be an action, a reaching towards you in some physical form, a presence where you did not expect them, a gesture that communicates without the need for words the completeness of what they feel. And for some of you, this is going to be a message, something written or spoken in a medium that allows them the slight buffer of not being face to face for the full weight of what they need to say. Something that, when you receive it, you will read more than once, because the fullness of what it contains will require more than a single reading to fully absorb. Whatever form it takes, the approach is imminent. The threshold is being crossed. I want to speak to what this means for you specifically, what this level of feeling directed toward you actually represents in the context of your love life and your journey through it. You have been in connections before where you were not the primary cherished one, where the depth of what you offered, the specific extraordinary quality of your devotion and your attention and your genuine investment in the people you love was not matched by what came back to you, where you gave more than you received, where the balance was perpetually off in a direction that required you to constantly adjust your own needs downward to accommodate what the other person was or was not capable of giving. What is being directed at you right now is different from all of that. The person I have been describing does not have the problem of insufficient capacity. They are not someone who cares less than you do, who is less present, who requires you to calibrate your needs to fit around their limitations. If anything, the challenge with this person might be the opposite, learning to receive what they are offering at the full volume it is being offered, learning to stay open to being loved, this specifically and this completely, without the protective instinct to manage it into something smaller that feels less vulnerable to receive. You deserve this level of feeling, Virgo, the complete, consuming, day and night, specific and deep kind, not the watered down version, the full thing, and it is being offered to you. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with something that I feel is the essential heart of everything that came through today. There is someone in your world who thinks about you from the moment they wake up until the moment they fall asleep, who carries the specific texture of who you are in a permanent layer of their awareness, who wants you in the most complete sense of that word, mind and heart and soul and presence, all of you. Not a selected version, everything. That is not nothing. That is one of the most significant things that one human being can experience in relation to another, and you are the object of it, fully, specifically, without any ambiguity about who it is directed at or what it means. What you do with that is yours to determine. How you receive it when it finally comes forward, what space you create for it in your life, whether and how you move toward it, or whether you need more time and more evidence before you open fully. All of that belongs to you. But the knowledge of it, the knowing that someone out there is experiencing you as the most present, most vivid, most essential presence in their interior landscape, even when you are not physically together, that knowledge is worth having, worth sitting with, worth letting land in the part of you that has been hoping, without always fully admitting it, to be loved like this. You are being loved like this right now, day and night. If this reading moves something in you today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to feel this energy, and leave me a comment below. Tell me how this landed. Tell me if you felt the truth of this before this reading. Put words to it. Tell me what it feels like to receive the knowing that someone thinks of you with this much constancy and this much completeness. I read every single word you share. Every story matters to me deeply, and I carry your energy with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, you are on someone's mind right now, and you will be when they fall asleep tonight. And you will be the first thing that rises in them when they wake tomorrow. That is real. That is yours. And it is more beautiful than you may have allowed yourself to believe you deserved.